Good morning, everyone. This week's Torah portion contains a very all-encompassing fundamental commandment of Judaism. It says, you shall sanctify the name of God, and you shall not desecrate God's name. Hence, this is known as the Mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem, that a Jew is commanded to sanctify God's name in this world, and never to do anything that would desecrate God's name. But what is the meaning of this commandment? So in order to understand the meaning of the commandment, you have to understand what does it mean to sanctify God's name. What is the meaning and what is the purpose of a name? Your name is how you are identified by others. Your name is your reputation. And therefore what God is saying in the Torah portion is that every Jew has an obligation on a daily basis to act in a way that will bring honor and praise and love for God's name in this world. Because how is God identified in this world? He's identified through nature. He's identified through history. But he's also identified through the Jewish people. We are God's ambassadors on earth. And therefore, when we do things that are righteous, we bring honor to God's name and reputation. We bring love and admiration for God to the others around us who behold a Jew who lives by the Torah and the morals and values of Judaism, doing acts that are kind, noble, and righteous. But God forbid, when we act immorally or unethically, we bring desecration to God's name. As a rabbi, sometimes I have to visit Jewish inmates in prison. And the saddest scene is on visiting day, to see parents visiting their child in prison. The shame and self-loathing is written all over their face. It's as though they're asking themselves, how was it that we were not able to protect our child from themselves? After everything we've done for this child, how did he end up being a criminal? Well, just like parents get tremendous pride when their children act righteously, and tremendous pain and shame when they act in a way that is unethical or immoral or improper, so too God says, I am affected by your actions, even whether positively or, God forbid, negatively. One of our wonderful members is Mark and Harriet Levine. Their son Michael in 2006 was a lone soldier in the IDF from Philadelphia, and he was killed tragically in the Lebanon War. And their beloved son Michael became a hero to the Jewish people. 15,000 people showed up at his funeral because they heard about his selfless courage and devotion and sacrifice. And every year they go to Israel on Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day, to stand at the grave of their soldier, of their son, the IDF soldier who became an inspiration for so many. But this year, they did something very special. They dedicated a number of years ago a Michael Levine Lone Soldier Center for other lone soldiers to come and have a place to eat, to sleep, to be together with others. And we, this summer, as a synagogue, went on a trip to Israel, and we hosted a barbecue for these beautiful, amazing young men and women who leave their host country, whether America or Australia or France or wherever they come from, and they come to Israel to serve in the IDF just because they want to support and defend Israel and the Jewish people. And we were hundreds of these lone soldiers there at this wonderful Michael Levine Center. Well, this year, just a few days ago on Yom HaZikaron, they dedicated a Torah in love and memory of Michael Levine to the Michael Levine Center in Jerusalem. And hundreds and even thousands of people danced in the streets as they brought this Torah to the Michael Levine Center. And Ron Dermer, the former ambassador to the United States, spoke at the dedication ceremony. And this is what he said. He said the Jewish people need two things to survive in this world. They need koach, they need strength. But they need tachlis, they need a purpose in this world. He said for thousands of years, the Jewish people were in the diaspora without a homeland. We always had a purpose. We knew what our purpose was in this world, which is the Torah. But we didn't have the strength, we didn't have the power, the physical might to defend ourselves against persecution, oppression, anti-Semitism, and God forbid, even the tragic attempts to annihilate the Jewish people. He said, thank God the Jewish people today have a homeland, Eretz Yisrael. We have an IDF. We even have lone soldiers who come from all over the world to fight and defend the Jewish homeland and the Jewish nation around the world. But we always have to remember that it's not enough to have power and strength. We have to have tachlit, a purpose in this world. Without a purpose, we lose our strength. And with a purpose, our strength becomes even stronger. And that's the idea of Kiddush Hashem, that we have to remember, what is our purpose in this world? What were we sent here to do? And when we act as a nation with not only strength and smarts and successes, but a nation that demonstrates that they have a purpose in this world, and their purpose is to bring God's goodness and love to humanity, then we elevate the honor and the recognition and the love for Hashem in this world, and we sanctify God's name, His reputation, His connection to all of mankind through our good deeds. Have a wonderful day, and make a Kiddush Hashem.